If we continue to retain a veto, it doesn't change the current situation. It maintains the status quo. So that's something to keep in mind.
Governor Rajan hints that he's okay with losing the veto power in the proposed Monetary Policy Committee, says there's a broad agreement and no differences with the government, also admits that the governor's independence is more de facto than de jure.
Governor Rajan sticks to the script. RBI leaves key rate unchanged in its monetary policy but says its stance remains accommodative.
Strong data growth boosts Bharti Airtel in the fourth quarter. Mobile data traffic rises as revenues jump by 42%, 42 rupees for every user. Profits perk up by over 24% sequentially thanks to the sale of tower assets in Africa.
We're getting into a situation globally where China and eventually India will be the drivers to global growth.
Franklin Templeton's Mark Mobius is placing his bets in India and China. Major indices end the day with marginal losses on the Wall Street. Mid-cap party rolls on.
What we are looking at are some technological breakthroughs in terms of getting some absolutely new to India products into the market.
Britannia's Managing Director Varun Berry remains upbeat after beating market expectations for 10 straight quarters, says the company is not seeing any slowdown in rural areas, promises to launch new to India products and 6 to 8 new categories.
The government makes a U-turn after blocking 857 porn websites, decides to lift the ban of those sites that do not contain child pornography.
The former chief of Pakistan's top investigation agency that probed the 26/11 attacks exposes his country's role in the Mumbai terror attacks, lists the 7 undeniable evidence that links the attacks to Pakistan.
I think there is clear evidence that Sushma Swaraj ji has broken the law.
जिस तरीके से उन्होंने हमारे मेंबर्स को सस्पेंड किया वो एंटी डेमोक्रेटिक है.
Why Congress party is running away from the debate? Because they know once the debate starts, Congress party is going to have eggs on its faces.
If we want the parliament to run smoothly, there is the responsibility of the government to take into account the concerns that we have been voicing now for 1.5 months.
Why are you demonstrating outside? Why are you protesting outside and making allegations? Come to the house, start the debate, discuss, and then make allegations.
Well, 11 days gone and still no business done. 99 crore rupees have gone down the drain and the standoff between the government and the opposition has only intensified. Good evening. Thanks very much for joining us on India Business Hour. Hi, Nandara.
Good evening, Shireen. I think everybody, the entire country, including India Inc., while industry body CRI appealing to parliamentarians to call a truce and actually get some work done. Fingers crossed.
Well, will it work or won't it? Is the big question. Unlikely at this point in time. But let's go straight to our top story tonight, and it comes in from the Reserve Bank. The monetary policy, as the CNBC TV 18 poll had predicted, the Reserve Bank did not give a rate cut today, but he did give some hope of a cut later on. The next cut, if any, will depend on the spike in inflation in June, reversing on monsoons, improving, and of course the Fed's decisions. Lata and Veto report on what the markets should expect from here on.
The markets have learned to never second-guess this man. But this time they got it right. Governor Rajan kept key policy rates steady at 7.25%, on the argument that he had front-loaded the rate cuts and that the spike in food and general inflation in June bears watching. However, importantly and unexpectedly, he left a door open for more rate cuts.
While we await data on whether the recent increases in inflation, including in non-food items, are temporary, and whether the monsoon will continue to be near normal. We note the recent fall in oil prices, which will be very beneficial for India. As we await the transmission of our front-loaded past actions, we will monitor developments for emerging room for more accommodation.
More importantly, the RBI has marked down its inflation expectation for January to March 2016 by 0.2% from 6.3% earlier to 6.1%. But for the month of January 2016 itself, it has retained the earlier forecast of 6%.
Inflationary expectations do get altered considerably by certain salient items such as food, milk. Various components of food are more salient than others, vegetables for example. So given that, yes, it is a concern, but one should keep it in that perspective. It's one of the factors we're looking at.
We have always said that these things are data dependent, and this is an example that it is data dependent. At the moment, the risks are balanced, but as you know, the fan chart is a confidence interval, so you would find in that broad funnel numbers which would be below 6.
In the conference call with analysts, the governors reiterated that RBI's inflation model factors in crude around $55 per barrel. So if crude were to remain below $50 for a longish time, inflation could be lower than projected.
In the June policy, the Reserve Bank had given a rate cut but had sounded hawkish. But in today's policy, without giving a rate cut, the Reserve Bank sounds marginally dovish because it says it will look for emerging opportunities for further accommodation. That is jargon to say that we are still looking for one more opportunity to cut rates. That is the best option that the market could have expected from the Reserve Bank. In Mumbai, with Manasvi Ghelani and Ritu Singh, Tata Venkatesh.
All right, so the Reserve Bank governor, they're sticking to the script, but this is an unscripted disruption of our regular programming, because we are given to understand that Foxconn's founder, Terry Gao, who met with the Prime Minister earlier today, is now addressing the media, making their strategic announcement on their India plans. Let's go across live.
Not final yet, but I really appreciate your media friend to watch this investment, and then give us very encouraged to invest in India. Definitely we will come here, but not final. All the decision not final yet. But we have already some manufacturing one or two area already working. But this is not we want to do. We want to do is for whole the group, a whole scope. Follow I have chance to meet Mr. Prime Minister Modi. He encouraged me to follow instruction. His instruction is make India, and then skill India, teach India, and then clean India. But I also explained to Mr. Modi is very important since not just maybe put on more like high-tech India, and also export India. It's India is so many very capable, and then so many young talent software, and then engineering, software engineering, also technology engineering, working for different area for high-tech industry already many years. So you already have making over $100 billion for your software or high-tech area for export. So you are capable, like young generation talent to working with, but you focus on the software. We are strengths in hardware. So I mentioned is if we can, the software and hardware can integration together. This will be become to more, more efficient or more, make sense to have the whole hardware software technology integration together can provide more job for young generations. Also can provide can contribute for like 1 + 1, I think bigger than 2. Okay, this is why we are very interested in here. Second, is we find we are in India, not the newcomers. We are the many years, we are the experience in manufacturing in India. But we come here not just want to manufacture or assemblies. We want to, I mentioned, skill India, technology India, also export from India. This is, we want to have a 5 to 10 years of long-term program. As I just mentioned, we want to have the very strategic planning. So why we have in the very short periods, within maybe 45 days, I come here twice. But my teams already come here, few hundred, teams, a few hundred business leaders by different business sectors, including the phones, TVs, precision mechanicals, electronics, opticals, battery, energies, data centers. We had a lot, major, in my group, the leaders, in charge. They already recently to visit here several times. Like Kevin is on my right side. He is in charge of all the phone business. He already come here within. He's already come here with. In 3 times within 7 weeks. They find really have very interesting company, very interesting innovation, and then entrepreneurial company. We never see this before. I don't know. Maybe this we can call Moody effect or India. Future, not dreams. Future idea place is good for people. Good for people like Howard, like us, to come here to really serious, to thinking. Not just here, just come here to make a simple, assembly or make some, easy parts. We want to come here to really to make long-term and high-tech investment for strategies. But India still too it's a big countries, too many places and then too many states or too many cities, too many places. We choice, we're difficult. We find everyone their specialty. So for me, make great difficulty to choice, which product should be made in where, which cities. Especially we have a little bit concern, some major issues, like logistics, okay, like supply chain, suppliers, and like the infrastructure, power, and then carbon efficiency. All this is we will learn how we can have it's how we can get land for enough, land we can, expansion or manufacture space, also export. So this kind situations, there's such kind of the major effect for we selected in locations. But I can say this, make sure not just one place. We have too many places, But it's which place, will be in the first one. But so far, we think we already do some thing in the AP states, for in the early stage, due to we had the Chennai factory before, so we will move some manufacture to AP states, and then we think, it's Gujarat, also MH is one of the two of the major, but nearby here, have the like Delhi, Silicon Valley, close by, and then also, Bangalore. Bangalore. We also have to make different, software integrations, and then maybe we have the, lot, new, application software, or testing program software, or Industry 4.0, integration software will come here to put on the investment place. So not only hardware, we also will build software for for different kind of products, and then we will be to make long-term strategy investment. Based on the information you already know, we already working on like a Snapdeal, like a Magmax. We are just trying. We understanding this kind of company is very dynamic, very innovations, and a lot of young talent. So every time we come here visit, we make more confidence. We should be done come here. We have to come here, and as soon as possible. But the final decisions after these meetings, I still have several days stay here to visit different place to make talk to local governors, local investment representative, to understanding the details, term conditions, and then we will make quick decisions. This is in the program, not just one decision. That we will keep going to start to immigrate to manufacture or technologies to here, but we're also looking for new opportunity for my groups. So this is my briefing introduce, for your come here to understanding, a lot, you are. I am surprised, last, few weeks, it's I appreciate the media, India media is very, pay attention to this case. For us, is really honors. But some is report is close, with considerations. But some is, we think we are not final yet. So, but I want to have chance to meet with you to talk, what I saw, what I think.
All right, that's the big story there coming in from the Foxconn founder Terry Gao, calling it the Modi effect, saying he's been in India twice over the last 45 days. They haven't finalized their India investment plans just yet, saying that they're looking at manufacturing a whole host of their product categories, from television screens to mobile phones, solar panels and so on and so forth. They are looking at a bunch of states. He said it's a difficult choice. They're spoiled for choice at this point in time, so they're looking at Gujarat, Maharashtra, Andhra Pradesh, perhaps Bangalore and even Delhi as possible investment destinations, of course articulating that the challenges continue to be, as far as the supply chain is concerned, logistics, infrastructure, land, power. Those are going to be crucial to sort of get by before they actually make their investment plans for India. At this point in time, not articulating what that plan is going to be. Very clearly, Terry Gao saying that they haven't finalized that, but they are encouraged to invest in India, and they are certainly looking at making a bunch of investments across manufacturing categories. If we get any more information that's material from Terry Gao, we'll get you that story right here on CNBC TV 18. So Foxconn is now looking at actively investing in India. But let's move back to the top story of the day. News channels have been breathing fire for the last few days. The Finance Ministry is trying to clip the governor's powers when it comes to making monetary policy. But if the Reserve Bank was expected to hit back with its version today, it did not. The governor did have a dignified last word. Latha and Veto bring you that story.
Expectedly, the RBI monetary policy was overshadowed by questions to the governor on what he thought of the government's idea that monetary policy henceforth be made by a committee rather than by him alone. Unexpectedly, the governor endorsed the idea.
There are at least three virtues of taking the decision away from the governor and giving it to a committee. First, a committee can represent different viewpoints, and studies show that its decisions are typically better than an individual's. Second, spreading the responsibility for the decision can reduce the internal and external pressure that falls on an individual. Third, a committee will ensure broad monetary policy continuity when any single member, including the governor, changes.
Nor did he disagree with the proposed composition of the committee.
I can reiterate the Finance Secretary's comment yesterday that the government and RBI have reached a broad consensus on what such a committee should look like and what the powers of the governor should be. While the details have to be ironed out, there are no differences between the government and the RBI.
The crowing anticlimax was that he did not seem perturbed that the governor would not have veto power over the committee's views.
Currently, the situation is the governor has the veto. That's effectively all advice is only advice. Ultimately, the decision is the governor's. So if we continue to retain a veto, it doesn't change the current situation. It maintains the status quo.
The governor's acceptance comes after a strange string of events in Delhi over the last few weeks. The furor began last week when the Finance Ministry website indicated that following reactions to the FSLRC's code, the Monetary Policy Committee is being amended to comprise 4 government nominees, 3 RBI nominees and no veto powers for the governor. This is a sharp contrast to the committee's original recommendation that the committee be made up of the governor, 2 RBI officials, 2 members appointed by the government on the governor's advice, and 2 government nominees, with the governor having veto power. The government answered this criticism, saying the changes were the FSLRC's recommendations, a claim the FSLRC then denied. This gave rise to suspicion that the amendments clipping the governor's power were the Finance Ministry's doing, prompting the Finance Secretary to say that the Finance Ministry and the governor were on the same page.
We are in discussions with RBI governor, with the RBI on the form and manner of the MPC, and in fact we now have a position which is actually agreed, but which I am not going to disclose to you.
But even as Governor Rajan tried to dismiss the idea that the ministry and the central bank were at loggerheads, he could not resist a gentle reminder of tradition.
I think there's been healthy respect between the government and the central bank. See, the government in India has the right to give direction to the Reserve Bank of India and tell it what it should do. There's a clause in the Reserve Bank of India Act. That direction has never been given in the history of the RBI. So you have to distinguish what is de jure from what is de facto. And I think de facto, the RBI is independent.
In Mumbai with Lata Venkatesh, Ritu Singh.
Well, we did tell you on Friday that those in the corridors of power couldn't make out what the fuss was all about, and the government was open to the idea of reducing its nominees in the Monetary Policy Committee. Well, let's talk more about the announcement of today. What do bankers make of Rajan's accommodative policy? CNBC TV 18's Manasi Gilani reached out to SBI chairperson Arundhati Bhattacharya earlier in the day. She hopes for a 25 basis point cut by January 2016.
We'll have to make room for transmission. At this point of time, if there had already been some room for transmission, it would have happened. 97% of our resources are from deposits. So we need to look at our cost of funds to determine where the NIM is going. And we have to support that NIM to a great extent, because otherwise it has a direct impact on profitability. Also, you have to understand that the credit growth is not very robust as yet. Secondly, that the requirements for provisions is very high.
So on a rate cut before January is how much? What is the quantum you're expecting?
25 basis points, hopefully.
So the sum and substance banks are not looking at cutting rates anytime soon. Now, the Lal Street pretty much ignoring the Reserve Bank's monetary policy, but it was a volatile session with major indices clocking marginal losses. The Nifty lost about 25 points, but managed to defend the 8,500 mark. The Sensex was down 100 points. Both the indices managed to recover from a steep intraday fall. The mid-caps were trading in a different planet. The index rallied over 1% as blue chips struggled for traction. Well, let's talk about earnings. Bharti Airtel posting a solid set of first quarter numbers. The sale of its tower assets in Africa has boosted the profits by 24% sequentially. The company's data revenue, and that's the big story, has risen considerably, with mobile data traffic surging by over 86%. Kritika standing by now to take us through the numbers. Kritika.
So all in all, Shireen, numbers were largely aided by a one-time gain thanks to the tower asset sale. But yes, the India core business was also strong, and that really is what the street will be watching for. So quickly break this up for you. On the top line, they saw a growth of around 2.8%. If I break up the PAT, then PAT's gone up by 23.8%. That's largely due to a 450 crore rupee gain through the tower asset sale in Africa, and which essentially has come in at an exceptional item of about 1,431 crore rupees. In all, they've gotten around $1.34 billion, which will gradually start trickling in over the next 3 to 4 quarters, according to analysts. Now, if you break this up further into the India business, that's where the core strength has come in this particular quarter. So on the top line, much better than what we were expecting, 2.9% up. They've seen a margin growth of around 183 basis points. Volumes up significantly higher than what we were expecting. We were expecting growth of 1.5 to 2%, and it's come in up by 4.7%, clearly indicating that the core voice business has gone up. Plus, add to that the data business growth of around 3%, and data traffic, as you said, grew by about 86.5%, which is a huge benefit over there. Africa, not as many fireworks coming in from Africa, so the top line fell by about 0.9%, again significantly better than expectations. But the overall average, the ARPU came in at just flattish at about $4.30, but monthly churn stood at 5.4%, which is a positive, indicating that going ahead Africa may tone down. So all in all, India is what has led the street, and yes, the fact that there's a one-time gain and it'll come in over the next couple of quarters is some kind of relief to the markets who are waiting, to the investors who are waiting for them to cut down their debt.
All right, that's Bharti Airtel for you. We'll have to see how the stock reacts to that. Of course, more corporate earnings out tomorrow, and we will be tracking that and more. Stay tuned to CNBC TV 18. Thanks for watching.